Hi there, welcome to Community Classroom Yoga. I'm Noah, once again with Cameron and Nicole. Today we'll continue on with a bit of stability, this time a bit more for the arms and shoulders, especially if there's a bit of postural stuff or upper back and neck stuff. This will help to start to take care of and then create a nice alignment for the arms so there's no, maybe on the opposite end, wrist and stuff, numbness, tingling, carpal tunnel type stuff. For now, let's stay in child's pose. Knees a little wide, let the hips sink back. Because it's a bit more of a compact position to start, this chance to really feel the breath expand and move, the ribs out into the side body, up into the back and hips. Create a bit of space to soften. Good. Let's take one more breath here. And then let's come up through all fours. So if you look on your hands, the little finger pads at the tips of the fingers, just grip in so that the space underneath the nail might be a little bit blanched or white. You can grip in, just shift your weight right from here into the balls of the hands a bit more, into the heels of the hands. Inner and outer edge, just start to play with moving the wrists and fingers around a bit. Then let's grip the hands nice and strong, and especially between the thumb and first finger here. Let's keep this index finger, the knuckle at the base of the hand, nice and rooted. And then inhale, you can look up, sink the chest down, create a bit of a back bend. Exhale, you can round. Good, so as you arch and round, these little elbow creases, keep them facing each other, especially on the exhale. The tendency is they want to turn and roll forwards, and the hands are going to spin and come off that inner edge. So really work to keep the inner hand gripped to the ground and keep the elbows facing each other. So the arm bones actually become quite stable and gripped in the musculature. You can see in Cameron his triceps there as he holds on. As the arms become stable, allow this whole upper back and neck area to become quite soft. Good. One more breath here. Forearms may be getting a little tired. If you're really gripping in, that'll be a good sign. And at the end of your next inhale, let's just widen the knees again and sit back to child's pose. Yeah, take a few breaths, let the hands relax, settle the hip and bum. This feeling, even though the breath is coming in from the nose, it's starting from the hips and coming all the way back up to the head and chest. Good. Let's come up one more breath here, and let's come back up to all fours. So as you find all fours this time, hands can turn out to the side if you like, or you could even start to spin the fingertips a little bit more around to the knees. Same thing, arch and round. If you sit your weight back a little bit in your hips, it'll get a bit more stretch to the front of that forearm. And even though we're getting a bit of a stretch maybe for the forearms, still find that gripping in the fingertips like you just did with the hands forward. This feeling the best way for the body to open is in a place with tone. Where it feels very safe and supported and stable. Good. One more breath here. At the end of your next inhale again, let's turn the hands around if they've come back, open the knees up, and just settle back to child's pose. Yeah, a few moments here. We'll start a bit soft, let the groin settle, let the breath be a bit deeper. Good. One more breath. And let's come up to all fours. And about a push-up distance for the hands and knees. Good, so take that moment as you find the push-up, really grip your fingertips. And then exhale, you can press back into a downwards facing dog. Yeah, knees can lift. So inhale, come forward. Exhale, draw back. As you come forward and back, this feeling more and more that as the chest comes forward, that the shoulders want to come forward over the fingertips more and more. So as if you maybe come from the shoulders to the fingers and then maybe towards sort of the chest, the belly. Good. The more the chest comes forward, though, don't let the hips and belly sag down. Take a breath here. The next time that you come forward, come all the way forward. Let's all drop down to our knees and then keep the chest moving forwards, lower down. Good. Find yourself down to your belly and then bring your fingertips off the edge of your mat. A few times. Because the elbows are nice and high here, inhale, draw the shoulders and head back, lift up into a back bend. Exhale to lower. Good. Up and down a few times. This feeling, it's not so much about getting high, it's about squeezing and drawing the shoulders and the head back to get more of a back bend in the upper spine. Good. One more breath. At the end of your next inhale, hands can slide back under the shoulders. Transition with the toes or with the knees. Let's come back up to a downwards facing dog. Keep the hands and feet about a push-up distance. The tendency is we like to step the feet forward. Instead, grip and push into the hands. Reach the thighs back, reach the hips back. Good. Take a breath here. As you inhale, come forward to the top of a push-up, and then come down to your left knee. Drop the inner right foot to the ground. We'll start to get steady. As we lift open, notice that the elbow doesn't come forward and the hand doesn't curl off. So root the hand. Keep the arm turned in, just like on all fours. Bring the right hand to the hip or up into the air. Good, so start to turn your chest open, but keep your awareness in that bottom hand, that inner edge of the hand stays rooted, the elbow crease stays facing the center of your mat. It'll start to want to turn out a little bit. Keep drawing it in, take the opening more through the chest. Good. As you inhale, come back. Where are we at? Good. And then bring that right foot forward. Come into a lunge. Good. Take a moment. Adjust the legs. Prepare the knee however you need to. And then bring your hands to your hips. Rise up to standing. Good. Lift nice and tall. Press the shoulders back. Draw the head back. Find that same little back bend that you just did on your belly. Good. A moment, and then bring your hands to the ground. Find yourself a push-up distance. Toes or knees. Actually, let's all go knees. Bring the weight forward, lower down. As you lower down, the shoulders tend to want to drop forward, so squeeze the shoulders back. Good. A few times. Bring the hands off the edge, arch and round, up and down. So to develop some back strength. Tendencies we get very caught up in the front of the body and locked up in the shoulders just because there's not enough strength in the back to put them in alignment where they're free to move. Good. The next time you exhale, hands can come back under the shoulders. Let's press up to a downwards facing dog. As you find down dog, keep gripping the fingers. Keep the weight to the inner edge of the hand, especially where the index finger and the thumb come together. Good. Shift your weight forward to the top of a push-up. Come on to your right knee. Stretch the left leg back. Come to the inner edge of the foot. Good. So again, start to make steady that right arm. Roll open. As you roll open, take a few moments. Look at your standing hand. The right hand. Fingers are active as you grip. Inner edge is pressing down and this elbow crease hasn't turned forward. It's straight into the middle of the mat like when they were facing each other. The opening is through the chest. Good. One more breath here. And same thing. Let's untwist. Find a lunge. Bring your left foot to the hands. No rush. Take a moment. Find a good distance. And then hands to the hips. Let's rise up. Sit up nice and tall. So that same sense. Squeeze the shoulders back. Squeeze the head back. Bend into your front knee. Good. Inhale. Top of a push-up. So toes or knees. So take a moment. Let's all do it on our toes. Take your chest forward. Start to lower down. Squeeze the shoulders back. Knees at any point. As that feels easier, you can start to stay off them. Shoulders back. A few times, up and down. Good. And at the end of your next inhale, let's press back to child's pose. Knees a little wide. Just soften and settle and take a few moments. Good. Big breath all the way up, hips to head. And then let's come back up through all fours again. Good. Hands a bit forward, downwards facing dog. Good. Let's take a moment here. And then walk your feet up to your hands. Little bend in the knees as you get there. And then lift up to interlace the hands into the low back. So you might come up 90 degrees or even a little higher, wherever you need to get the hands together. Squeeze the elbows back, and then just start to lift your hands up. As the hands lift up, they're going to want to come apart, so really grip the fingers. So if someone's finger was between the heels of your hands, this space would be getting tighter. Squeeze in through there. As you squeeze in through there, let the upper back draw together. Good. Take a breath. As you exhale, release the hands down. Hang heavy for a moment. And then big inhale. Arms can sweep up and overhead. Exhale, release your hands. Good. Just flow again. Arms overhead, your next breath. And then exhale, bow forwards to a full forward fold. Good. Bend the knees enough you can bring your fingertips to the ground. And let's take a big step back with your right foot. Find a lunge. Yeah, so wiggle it all the way back that your front knee is right over your front ankle. And then come on to your back knee. Good. Sink low a moment. Right elbow to left knee. Let's work a twist. Good. So palms together. And then really draw the elbow back into the knee to pull your chest through. This feeling, it's the right ribs wanting to come forward towards the inner thigh that draw up in the elbow and draw the chest across. Good. One more breath. As you inhale, untwist. Bring both hands to the inner foot. Good. Make steady that right arm, and we can do the same thing. You can bring that left leg back to find the same balance you were just in before, right hand and right knee on the ground. Or you can lift the back leg up into the air, so you have to get a bit more stable. Right leg on the ground or in the air, either way. Turn the chest open. Keep the elbow from turning out. Good. Take a breath. And then come back to all fours. Good. Downwards facing dog. Press back through one leg, through the other. Grip the fingers. This feeling, you can press the balls of the hands in that the armpits want to lift up. So that even here, there's that drawing of the shoulders into the back of the body. Good. From here or from all fours, let's switch sides. Let's bring the right foot to the hands, and we'll twist the other way. Yeah, find a good lunge distance, and then draw your left elbow to right knee. Use that squeezing back of the elbows to find the back bend like we did in our belly to pull your chest through. Keep sinking and bending into the front knee. Good. As you inhale, untwist. Bring both hands to the inner foot. Keep the left hand on the ground. Take the right leg back behind you. Again, leg can come back to the ground like you did before, or you can lift it up into the air. Either way, we're to keep that thumb and first finger rooted. The sense of still wanting to draw the shoulders back to lift through the chest, even though it's a bit harder here. Good. Take another breath. Then uncurl. All fours and back to child's pose. Pause. Good, a few breaths here. Feel the whole body want to lift and drop as the breath rises and falls. Good. One more breath here. And then come up to all fours, but as you find all fours, instead of staying on the hands, let's come on to the forearms. So elbows and knees. Good, so there's this feeling we want to draw the shoulders back. So melt the shoulder blades together and walk your knees back a little bit. As your knees walk back, have a little space. The shoulders are going to want to fall back too. So keep pushing your armpits forward towards your fingers. Melt into the upper back. Look at your fingers with the hand or with the gaze maybe so the head doesn't drop. And just pause a few moments. Keep drawing the shoulders more forward. Good. Stay as you are, or if you like, tuck the toes under and start to lift your knees off the ground. As the knees start to lift, if that's where you're going, make sure that the shoulders don't draw back. You can show what that looks like. The tendency is the shoulders want to draw back with the hips lifting. Keep the shoulders forward. Good. As soon as you're tired, come out. Otherwise, let's take one more breath here. Hug the elbows in. And then come down to your knees and settle back to child's pose. Good. Take a breath or two. Good. One more breath here. And then last time through everything. Come back up through all fours, about a push-up distance. Lift your groins up to a downwards facing dog. Good, hips nice and high. Grip the fingers, pick the armpits up. Then walk your feet up to your hands. Little bend in your knees as you get there, hang heavy. Good. Big inhale, arms can sweep up and overhead. The hands can come into the back of the head as you get there. Lift up nice and tall, and then let side bend to the left. Nice long stretch through the right side body. Good. As you inhale, come up, stretch your arms up, and then cross your right elbow on top of your left elbow. So hook the elbows, maybe to the wrists and to the palms. So we won't worry about balancing. What I want you to do is to draw your elbows over to the left, but turn your hips and your gaze to the right. Good. Now keep turning the hips to the right. Maybe just look your head back or forth once or twice over your right shoulder, over your left shoulder. Good. One more breath. The next time that you look over your right shoulder, let's just stay there for an extra breath. Gaze can come one way, pull the shoulder the other. Try to move your hips the same way as your gaze. Good. Inhale, draw the head back. Release the arms as you exhale. Stand tall a moment. And then inhale, arms overhead. Hands to the back of the skull as you exhale. Again, stand up nice and tall, and then side bend to the right. Nice long stretch to the left side body. Good. Inhale, come back up. Stretch the arms up. Left elbow can cross on the right elbow, just as is, or maybe to the wrist or the palms. Again, we won't work the arm balance. Pull the elbows over to the right. Turn your hips to your left. Look over the shoulders once or twice to each side. Good. The next time you look over your left shoulder, stay there. Gaze to the left, hips to the left, pull the elbow to the right. Good. One full breath more. And same like the other side. Come back through center, release the arms. Stand tall, a breath. Then big inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, bow forwards. Good. Step back, top of a push-up, toes or knees, wherever you feel. And don't be shy to use your knees if it feels like your shoulders are dumping. Keep the shoulders back, lower down to your belly, chest coming forwards. Good. As you find your belly, let's stretch the right arm out to the side, a little bit higher than shoulder height. Good. So the tendency is if the arm gets to be too low, the front of the shoulder gets stuck into the ground. If the arm gets to be too high, we miss the stretch. So I like to think about the hand being right about the height of the head. Like we did before, draw the shoulder blades together and then start to roll onto your right side. You can come up onto your right fingertips and walk the fingertips away. As you find the stretch, the feeling that the front of your right shoulder is lifting away from the ground, so it's not getting pressed into it. There's space to draw your fingertips under. To help that, just right at the finger pads, root down to draw the arm bone up. Instead of pressing more, because of the way the pec muscles attach into the upper ribs, just breathe deeper. Feel as though the breath itself is what's going to draw more stretch into this position. Let the head draw back, let the chest turn open, and take a few more moments. Good. One more breath here. When you come onto your belly on your next inhale, come onto your belly, forehead to the ground, stretch your arms overhead with your palms turned up. This feeling, you really want to let the thumbs roll open. As the thumbs roll open, the upper back, the space between the shoulders and the ears can widen. Take a few moments. Good. When you're ready to, let's bring the hands back under the shoulders, and in particular, reach that left arm out to the side. So about the same height as the right. If it comes too low, the shoulder gets stuck. If it comes too high, you lose the stretch. Hand about the height of the head, and then start to walk your left fingertips back as you roll onto your left hip. Nice stretch out for the pec. Again, work to keep the front of your shoulder lifting away from the ground, so it feels like we did those first little shoulders back to the height of the elbows, those little back bends. That's the positioning for the upper back. That's the positioning for the shoulders, so we don't get all in the neck and throat and upper spine. Because the shoulders, essentially only one tiny little joint that's bone on bone, and all the rest of it is a big muscular joint. The stronger the better, especially strength and appropriate muscles that are going to balance the big pull of the pecs and the lats, sort of the biggest musculature of the upper body and the shoulders. Good. One more breath or so as is. When you're ready to, come back to your belly. Stretch the arms overhead, palms up. Take a moment or so. Good. And let's bring the hands back under the shoulders and press back to child's pose. Yeah, just a moment or so, settle. Nice contrast for the hips and groins. Good. And then sit up through all fours. You can sweep your feet in front of you, and let's come to seated. Good. So as you find seated, plant your feet in front of you where your knees would be. And this first time, let's bring our hands behind us. Fingertips can point away. Good. So grip your fingers, bend your elbows to draw the shoulders back. It's on that same positioning. Shoulders back, head back. Right, a little bit of a back bend here. Good. As is, or start to lift your hips up into the air. As your hips lift up, you got to push the fronts of the shoulders back and push the head back. So there can be more a sense of the shoulder blades coming together to draw up in the chest. Good. Full breath. As you exhale, let's come down to the ground. Soles of the feet can come together. Turn your chest and bow over your left leg and really reach that right arm farther out. As you reach your right arm out, press your right knee and thigh down into the ground. Good. Take a breath. As you inhale, come back up to center. Same thing, hands behind you, fingertips away. Plant the feet in front of you. Good. Arch the spine, lift the chest, and then lift the hips. So actively push back. This feeling as the shoulders push down into the ground, it's going to give you power to lift up in the chest. One more breath. And then same thing, hips to the ground as you exhale. Soles of the feet together and start to bow forwards. As you bow forwards, turn the torso over to the right and a nice long stretch through that left arm. Yeah, pull the ribs away. Take a few breaths. One more breath or so here. Good, you guys. And then sit up tall. Last time, plant your feet in front of you. Bring the hands behind you. Instead of lifting up this time though, slide your feet out a little straighter and then start to slide your hips towards your feet. A nice long passive stretch. As you slide forward though, you might find a point where it feels like the chin is popped way forward or the shoulders have. Keep gripping the fingers to muscularly want to keep bending at your elbows. Keep drawing the shoulders back. As you keep drawing back, push into the ground, get that lift up through the chest. This feeling, if it helps, press your head back a little bit. As the head presses back, lift up into the chest. Keep drawing the head back. Good, but up into the chest. Good. One more breath here. Nice broad collarbones and throat. And then exhale, root the heels. Slide the hips back to the hands. Good. Soles of the feet can draw back together into the groins. Walk your hands straight forward and bow down. Good. Nice and long, reach and settle. Let the spine round. 2 or 3 breaths here. And when you're ready to, let's release it. You can come up to seated, stretch your legs out in front of you, and down onto your backs. Good. This ends our time in community classroom. Enjoy your days and namaste.